Perfect. The recording is also on. So, hi everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the live session of the Certified Advanced Masterclass. And in today's live session, we are going to learn how to use something called as user-defined functions generated by AI in bracket ChatGPT. All right. So we are going to learn how actually we can go ahead and create something called as UDFs, which is just another fancy term for something called as custom formulas. Now, guys, throughout the entire month of February, we have been actually going ahead and learning a lot of how to use ChatGPT to generate a lot of automations and formulas for Microsoft Excel. If you have joined the entire masterclass after that, no problem. Everything has been recorded and added to your entire program. So, guys, when you log into your account, you will be having a course which is called Previous Weekly Q&A Recordings. All you have to do is click on the continue study button, and when you do that, you would be having inside the entire course every recording of every live session that have been conducted so far. So for example, in the month of February, I conducted 4 live sessions where, as you can see, we have learned a lot about how to create our own Excel toolkit. We have learned how to create custom formulas using AI for again creating custom functions and a whole lot more right here in the month of February. We are going to continue our learning in today's session. And don't worry, even if you haven't been a part of the entire masterclass back in Feb, or you haven't gone through all these recordings, or you haven't attended any of these live sessions as well, absolutely okay, because you will be having today completely disconnected, completely separate from what we have learned so far. All right. So today you don't require any kind of prior knowledge. We are going to go ahead and learn everything step by step, right from the very basics. A quick disclaimer for people who have recently joined in, guys. I'm just not keeping well right now. So you might have felt a bit of low energy from my side and a bit of a nasal tone. That's only because I'm not keeping well today. So yeah, that's kind of about it. I hope that's okay. I will try to get back to the best of my energy and to the best of my health as soon as possible for you guys. All right. But guys, coming back to today's learning, right? What is it that we are going to learn? We have learned how to create a lot of custom formulas that I added via AutomateX. So we are going to continue our learning by understanding how to create different formulas that AutomateX has completely from scratch, all with the help of ChatGPT. All right. And the formulas that we are going to learn are actually in Microsoft Excel's terminology called user defined. Oops, I made a spelling mistake. Let's make it user defined. Let me make it your, delete this. There you go. Perfect. User defined functions. All right. So it is called UDFs. So custom formulas are nothing but UDFs. Now let's go ahead and learn one of the formulas that AutomateX has and understand how to create it manually, all with the help of ChatGPT generated macros. So guys, we have a formula. If I just select the formula, let me just do that. There you go. So guys, the name of the formula is sum from all sheets. Now the thing is, when we are working with a lot of data across multiple different date ranges, for example, if you are working with, let's say, the sales data of 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, at one point, if we have to consolidate all of them together, we will have to manually do it or rely upon a few Excel functions, which will actually take a lot of time for you to consolidate your data. It has a lot of steps. What do I mean by that? Let's go ahead and take an example. So guys, let's say I have the data of 2020 here. Okay. What do I have? I have, let's say, product. I have A, B, and C. I have sales and profit. Okay. So we have, let's say, 10, 20, 30. We can say 1, 2, and 3. Okay. There you go. Now I will duplicate this worksheet 3 times. So let's say I have 1, 2, 3. 2021, I have 2022, and I have 2023. Now, guys, let's go ahead and modify these numbers. So let's make it any random number that I feel like. I'll also make this any random number just like you see, and do the same for these as well. So let's make it 30, let's say 36, 54, and 19. Let's make this 8, 15, and 20. And finally, the last one, let's make this 12, let's make it 60, and let's make this 74. I'll make this 25, I'll make this 12, and I'll make this 7, for example. Okay. So now we have the sales and the profit data for three products, which is product A, product B, and product C. Now, if I want to consolidate this data, how do I do that? Let's understand that. If I remove all of this for now, temporary basis, the first thing which I can do is simply write my product because my product is not going to change, correct? So it is always going to remain A, B, and C. Even my header, the metric which I'm trying to combine together, will have the same header, which is sales and profit. Now, when it comes to our consolidation, how do we do that? When it comes to Microsoft Excel, somewhere in the where you have it, you have somewhere around your consolidation, somewhere you have this, right? Now you have an inbuilt function to consolidate your data, but the problem with that functionality is it takes a lot of steps for you to actually go ahead and consolidate your data. So instead of actually using the consolidate function, you know what will most people do? Most people will try to do the following, which is equal to go here, say this, then go here, say this, plus do this, plus do this, hit enter, and get the answer, which is 82. Now, if I drag it down, the good news is because I have open references, which is B2, 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 which is completely having no limitations, no locking, no freezing of cells. If I drag this formula downwards, for this cell, I will have the answer from all the values of B3, every single cell of B3 from all the worksheets. And same is the case for B4. Now I can go here and simply do this to get my answer for profit as well. And this should solve your problem of combining your data. So you can go, let's say in 2020, earlier our answer was 82. If I go to 2020 and I make this, let's say 15, you see, the answer will change to 87 because we are using a formula here. And this should solve your problem. But this is not what most people will ultimately face when they work with real life data. This is good as an example to you. However, if you have data across multiple different date ranges, you are not only going to have, let's say, 4 worksheets. You might end up having more than 4 worksheets. You might end up having 40 worksheets or 70 worksheets. In that case, how many of y'all agree that if you try to do this method of is equal to this plus this plus this plus this for 70 worksheets, it would actually take a lot of time? Let me know in the Zoom chat if you agree with that by dropping in a yes in the Zoom chat. What do you think? Make sense? Perfect. So guys, in that case, what do we do? In that case, we can have a formula which is called sum from all sheets. Okay, so this is the name of the formula. We can create something like this, where if I say is equal to, so if you want to understand the syntax, let me explain the syntax also. Cell, comma, true slash false. Okay, so let's just make it true slash false. So what will happen is here, the very first requirement is going to be cell, where you can select a cell that you want to find out the sum of from every worksheet in your entire workbook. Now, you also have something called as true slash false. So what do you mean by that? All right. When it comes to true slash false, guys, when it comes to true, okay, if you select the option of true, it will basically sum all worksheets cell. However, if you select false, it will sum all except current worksheet cell. So for example, if I said is equal to sum from all worksheets, oops, one sec. Let me give you an example. Let's say I have A6 and B6. Let's highlight these two. Okay. And I have 10 here. And if I go, oops, one sec. I think I have removed the previous data. Let me just bring it back. There you go. Perfect. So guys, think about this. I'm in the sheet. Let's call this compilation or let's call it compilation. Let's call it compilation. All right. Now, guys, right here, if I say, let's say I have 10 here, and in 2020, I have in the same cell, which is B6. Right here, you have B6. I have 100 here. And I have 200 here in B6. Now, if I say is equal to sum from all worksheets, I can select the cell which is B6, comma, and then I can say true, bracket closed. The moment I hit enter, as you can see, now I have, no matter how many worksheets I have, 310, which is the total of all the B6 of my entire worksheet. However, if I do not want to take the total inclusive of my current worksheet, if I want to ignore my current worksheet, I don't want to take this 10, I can say not true, false. Hit enter, and now as you can see, it will ignore the current worksheet's value. So B6, it will not take of the current cell of the current worksheet, it will take it for the rest of the data. So tomorrow, if I go to 2022 and I say 1000, what should be, oops, one sec, let me make it B6, perfect. If I go here, what do I have to do in that case? I have to go to the formula, hit enter once again, and as you can see, it has now turned into 1300. So this is something that you have to do in order to consolidate your data. Now the thing is, if I have to create this entire formula using ChatGPT, it is very, very simple. So let's go ahead and try to do that with the help of ChatGPT. Okay, let's see if ChatGPT can help us get the answer to it or not. So we can go to ChatGPT and actually ask ChatGPT to create this user-defined function or UDF for me. All I have to do is talk to ChatGPT as if I'm talking to a normal person. Okay. So to do so, I will go here and simply say, as if I'm talking to an Excel expert, a colleague of mine, create a user defined function that is called UDF, or I can also say create a custom formula as a user defined function, which will be called, for now, let's call it something else. So let's call it sum everything. Let's call this sum everything. Okay. So I will call it sum everything. This formula in Microsoft Excel. This formula will have only one argument in its syntax. So for now, I'm avoiding the true and false part. I'm not trying to make it super complicated. All I'm going to do is say it will basically take a cell reference, and that cell reference from every worksheet of that workbook will be totaled together to give me the sum. That's it. So for example, this formula will have only one argument in its syntax. This is how the formula will syntax will look like, is equal to sum everything bracket sell your cell means, you can say cell year means or cell means a cell reference that the user will select. The purpose of the formula is to calculate the sum of all values in that cell reference from all worksheets of the workbook and give the total, that is nothing but the sum, as the output. And to make it even more precise, what I can do is actually go ahead and give an example also. So for example, let's go ahead and say, one sec. For example, if the workbook has three worksheets, worksheet A, B, and C. And if the user writes the formula is equal to sum everything in bracket A4. Or let's go with the same example, which is B6. Then the values from all the worksheets or the values from B6 cell of all the worksheets will be totaled together and will be given as the output. That's it. All I have done is written quite a lot of words. I'm not saying I have just given it one or two sentences. I've definitely written quite a lot of words as well. But guys, would you agree? Whatever I have written so far is fairly simple. I have not tried to use any complicated language. Let me know in the Zoom chat if you agree with this. All I have done is described what I want. Does that make sense? Yeah? Simple? Cool. Perfect. So guys, again, remember the syntax or the requirement that you are having just has to be described to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is super smart, and even if it gives the wrong answer, you can always come back to it and modify the ultimate answer that you are going to require. So I'll go ahead and click on the send button. Let's go ahead and wait for ChatGPT to generate an entire code for us. As you can see, just like this, the entire code is given to you. Now, if you don't know how to insert the code, do not worry. Why? Because ChatGPT has also given you the process to add the entire function. So guys, let's go ahead and copy this entire code. Copy. I will go to Microsoft Excel. Let's delete this for now. Okay. Press Alt F11 and then go to Insert Module. That's exactly what even ChatGPT is asking us to do. Alt F11, Insert Module. Once we do that, we basically have to paste the above code in the module window and close the VBA editor. That's it. Let me go ahead and show it to you. So guys, I will go here in my VBA window, in my module, I will right click and paste my entire code. And that's it. Now, I will click on the close button. This is not a macro that you have to run. It is a formula that you have defined. So you do not have to click on the run button. You just have to click on the X button because now your formula has been registered. So now if I say is equal to sum everything, do you see this? Now you have a formula called sum everything. And I will simply select the cell B6. Let's go ahead and see if the answer is something that is accurate or not. So let's say I select B6, I hit enter. Well, it is giving me a value error. So now there is some kind of problem here. As you can see, I am not able to get my final answer. I'm getting a value error. So now what do? I go to ChatGPT and simply say, I am getting a hashtag value error while using this formula. Please check for any mistake, or you can just say check for any mistakes and fix the code. Once done, send the updated code. Let's see what happens in that case. Let's go ahead and copy. Now let's see if this is working, right? So let's go ahead, delete this, press Alt F11. I'll go here, remove the previous code and put in the new code. Now if I close it, and again if I try to say is equal to sum everything, select this and hit enter, I'm still getting this problem, right? So I'll go to ChatGPT and I will say, this is still giving me hashtag value error. What is the issue? Let's see if that helps you solve this problem. Okay. So now, as you can see, it is again giving you another formula. If I copy this, go to our worksheet. All right. So let's go ahead, delete this for now. Let's say I delete everything. For now, delete, 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 delete. Perfect. Now let's say I only have two values, 10 and 20. Let's see if this works. If I say Alt F11, I will remove this code and paste the updated code. Now I will click on the close button. Again, we will try to go ahead and see if that works. Select it. To no luck. So it is not working. So guys, in this case, as you can see, I have tried to make ChatGPT give me the updated code several times. However, it has failed to do that. It has given me the code which is still giving me a problem. So now what do I understand? It means that the source from where it started optimizing the entire code, that has a bigger problem. That is the main problem that we have to try and fix. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go back to my entire prompt, the bigger prompt which I've given right here. And I'm going to try and modify this prompt to get our final answer. Okay, so what can we do in this case? We can say create a custom formula as a user-defined function, which will be called sum everything in Microsoft Excel. This formula will only have one argument in its syntax. This is how the formula syntax will look like. Perfect. We have given an example. Cell means a cell reference that the user will select. Now, let's go ahead and here is the purpose of the formula. The formula has to sum all the numerical values that all worksheets have in the cell reference selected by the user. If there is no value in that cell in the selected cell, consider it as 0. For example, if the worksheet has or if the workbook has 3 worksheets, worksheet A, B, and C, and if the user writes the formula is equal to sum everything in bracket B6 in worksheet A, then the values from B6 cell of all the worksheets, that is worksheet A, B, and C, will be summed together and will be given as the output. So I'm trying to modify a few words and give a few more bulletproof, I would say, a fail-proof kind of a prompt to ChatGPT to see if that can get me the formula. And again, guys, as you can see, everything is a trial and error process. You can actually go ahead, try it out. You get the answer perfect. If you don't, you go ahead and keep on modifying the entire prompt. So as you can see, now you have again everything done for you. Done, done, done. Now let's go ahead and see if this works, right? So I'll quickly go here and I will remove this, Alt F11, and meanwhile, you can also go ahead and try it out for yourself as well, all right? I'll go here, right click, paste, close the entire formula or the entire dialog box, and I say is equal to some color or some everything, sorry, not color, select it, and there you go. It's working. As you can see, guys, now I have the formula working. All I did was change a couple of words. As you can see, I changed total to summed. Instead of saying worksheets, I also gave a proper definition, that is workbook or worksheet A, B, and C. Here also, I went ahead and properly had a paragraph of the purpose of the entire formula with a proper semicolon and then defined everything properly. Then I also felt that ChatGPT is not giving a correct macro because wherever you have blank values, it is facing a problem there. So what I did was I also mentioned something like this. If there is no value in the selected cell, consider it as zero. And after doing all of this, now as you can see, just by making 7, 8 word of changes, I have a formula which is working. Now if I say 20, do you see this? This formula is actually better than what AutomateX has, as you can see, because this is continuously updating. So if I go here and if I change this to 40, have a look at this. This is, oops, not updating now. As you can see, 40. Here it is 50, but this is still 70. So again, I will go here. Now if I hit enter, well, it is working now. So as you can see, now it is giving you the answer. So what does this tell you? It tells you that if the cell reference is in the same worksheet, if I make it 100, it will update automatically. And if it is in some other worksheet, if I make it 1000, as you can see, it will require you to go ahead and refresh the formula once. So this is something that you can create all with the help of ChatGPT. And the best part is you can ultimately convert this into a toolkit like AutomateX. So you can go ahead, ask ChatGPT to convert this entire formula, this entire macro into a toolkit that you can install. So you never have to write this formula again and again and again, and you will always be having it within Microsoft Excel for all your work, all your Excel workbooks as well. So guys, if you have learned something new right now, let me know in the Zoom chat if you have found this to be really, really useful. All right? Chalo. Yes? Wonderful. Absolutely. Okay, wonderful. Now, guys, let's go ahead and actually learn a couple of more formulas. So this is something that we have learned so far. How about I actually use a mathematical formula? Okay, so how about this? How many of you all here invest in the stock market? Any one of you all who invest in the stock market, mutual fund, SIP, buying of stocks, anything? Yeah. Anyone here who doesn't invest at all? I'm curious to know, what do you do in your life? Okay, chalo. Is there a secret asset class that I'm not aware about? No, na, ठीक है. So I see most of you all investing. For those who are not, I have no idea what you are doing, but sure. Coming back to what I'm going to teach you guys. Guys, understand this concept, right? When it comes to calculating your return, understand this. How do I put this in a simple context? Okay. So guys, understand this. If you have 100, okay, and if you have, let's say, 200 right now, and if you say, how do I put this? Okay, cool. Let's make it like this. So guys, let's say you have the following data, which is 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. So you have invested, let's say, 100 lakh rupees, 100 rupees, not lakh, 100 rupees. It has become 200 in 2021. It has become 173. Let's make it some random numbers. 173 in 2022. And it has become 217, or let's make it 154 in 2023. In that case, if I ask you a simple question, how much return have you made? How much return have you made so far? Most people will do the following, okay, which is 154 minus 100. I have made 54 rupees of return on my initial investment of 100 rupees. Okay. So if I ask you how much return have you made, most people will give the answer as 54%. This is what a lot of people do, right? I have made a return of 54%. But if you don't factor in how much time did it make or how much time did it take for you to make that return, you would not be accurately understanding the performance of your portfolio, of your investment. Because, guys, if I ask you a question, and this might be a bit more towards the financial side, you might not have a background in that, and that's absolutely okay. But it is important for you to understand, not just for this learning, but for your life also. Guys, a quick question to you. How many of you all think 54% return is a great return? Yes or no in the chat. What do you think? Yes, no, yes, no. Chalo, lovely. I see people saying 54% is not a great return. Okay. All right. Okay. So, guys, here, what is missing? You know what is missing? Context. Because understand this. If I didn't give you this example, and if I only told you your 100 rupees will become 154, how many of you all would be happy with it? If I didn't give you any context, कितना time में होगा क्या भी कुछ भी नहीं. Yeah, most people will be happy with it. But that misses something which is called as context. The context here is the time horizon. How much time did it take for your 100 rupees to become 154? Because now if I say, I will give you 54% return, but in 50 years, how many of you all will be like, are you mad? I don't want 50 years. Yeah, make sense? So context is important. Time horizon is important. So if you try to gauge the return, right, in this manner, it makes absolutely no sense. Let me give you one more example, which is again a very realistic example for a lot of people. Guys, if your 100 rupees the next year becomes 150, okay, and the next year or let's take an example of 120, for example, okay, and the next, or you want to keep it simple, actually, let's keep it simple only. 200, okay. Now, this is year one, okay, or keep it as year zero. This is year one. And let's make it even better. Let's make it 200 rupees in year two. If I ask anyone to calculate this, what is the return that you have gotten? What can most people do? They will be like, oh, from year zero to year one, I have gotten how much percent return? 100% return. And from year one to year two, how much return have I made? 0% return. So if I ask you guys to calculate the average return that you have made, what would be the answer? You would say is equal to 100 divided by 2 years, because it took you 2 years to make that return. So your answer will be, sir, I have made 50% return every single year. Just by looking at this number, how many of you all agree 50% return is a wrong number? Your average returns are not 50%, yes or no? Does that make sense? Yeah, simple. Perfect. So guys, this is not how you calculate your returns. And in stock market, obviously, you need to calculate your return. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you just Google, let's say, lump sum calculator, right? Let's say I invest tomorrow, let's say I invest 5 crores, for example. Okay, I'll just put in an example of 500 lakhs. Okay. Now, in the next 20 years, or let's make it 25 also, a 12% return will ultimately help you. I'll make it 500. Okay. A 12% return will make your 500 lakh, 8500 lakh, which is 85 crore rupees, just to give you an example, right? That 12%, if I make it 11, it goes directly down to 67 crores. If I make it just one more percent less, it becomes 54 crores. So you see how important the returns are. So it is important for you to track it. Now, the metric to track it is called CAGR. How many of you all have heard of this term called CAGR, which is the full form is compounded annual growth rate? Heard of it, guys? So this is the metric. There are multiple metrics. You have something called as NPV, which is your net present value. You have something called as IRR, which is your internal rate of return, which after a year ultimately is your CAGR. But I'm not going into the depth of it. But for now, what I'm going to help you understand is something called as CAGR. Okay? So What exactly is CAGR? All right. CAGR is basically going to help you understand. And why am I teaching you this? I'm not interested in teaching you finance. The reason why I'm teaching you this is because we are going to create this formula with the help of ChatGPT. Okay. So right here, I have a formula coming from AutomateX. If I say CAGR, okay, there is a formula where I can select the starting date, the starting amount, comma, ending amount, comma, and how many years did it take for you to achieve that, which is 3 years, right? So 2020 to 21, 21 to 22, 22 to 23, 3 years. If I close the bracket, I will get this as the answer. Why am I getting negative? One sec. Strange. Give me a second. Let me look at the syntax of Kaggle, which is saved on my phone for AutomateX. One sec. Ideally, you should get. Oh, my bad. The reason why, because cash flow. My bad. So, guys, quick correction. Formula is correct. The only mistake is I haven't used the positive and negative value. One modification that we need to do is right here. 13.4 is correct. The problem is you haven't added the right symbol, your right positive or negative symbol for your cash flow. So here in 2020, what you are doing is basically giving 100 rupees. So this will be negative minus 100. All right. This will be again. So understand this. This is 100, this is 214, this is 173, this is 154. So if you don't do the minus plus wala entire thing, understand this minus 13.4 is coming because you are having everything positive. But at starting point, you have your money given to someone. And then at the end of it, money received. Right? So it is two-way transaction. One where you are giving money, second where you are taking money. Right? So if you have everything positive, your answer will be minus 113.4, but it is basically 13.4% as your CAGR. Now, what do I mean by CAGR? Understand this, okay? CAGR is basically a metric that you measure to understand if from the very first year of your investment, you had put in your money, at what percentage, and I want you all to understand this, at what percentage would your money have to grow every single year? What constant percentage would your money have to grow every single year to ultimately reach 154? So your money has to grow by 13.4% every single year to be able to come to 154 at the end of 3 years. Is this clear or do I have to make it more simple? What do you think? Tell me in the Zoom chat, guys. Does that make sense? So if you had to more clear, ठीक है. Most people are saying yes, makes sense. No, chalo, ठीक है. Guys, understand this. Okay. Okay. Cool. No problem. Simple. Let's make this very simple. 100 hai. I'll make this 200. Okay. I'll make this 250. I'll make this 300. Okay. This means you have gotten 30.66. Okay. This means if you want to ultimately triple your money, if you wanted to go from 100 to 300, if you wanted to triple your money in 3 years, your money had to grow by 30.66% every single year to ultimately become 300 rupees. So at the end of first year, it would be 130.66. Does that make sense so far, guys? Is this absolutely clear? By the end of first year, it had to be 130.66. Barabar? Yeah? Make sense? Chalo, great. Yes? All right. Cool. So, guys, ek to, acha, I will start with something even more simple. Guys, I think a lot of people are not having any finance background at all. So I don't want to go into the details of it right now. Chalo, ek pehle simple cheez karte hain. Before we move on to Kaggle and all of that, Let's take something even more simple. ठीक है? तो this will help you understand. Weighted average करते हैं. चलो. Guys, if you don't know weighted average, I'll quickly explain it. This is a far more easy concept. Then we will come to CAGR, IRR, blah, 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 everything. Okay? Weighted average, very simple. If you are having, understand this, if you are having, for example, a student that you are grading and your principal, you are working as a teacher in a school, and your principal has basically told, Jatan, every student will go through three things. They will have a quiz, they will have an assignment, and they will have a final paper to give. The quiz will be out of 20 marks, assignment out of 20 marks, final paper out of 20 marks. But the weightage in the final result of the student for all these three different types of exams will not be the same. So the weightage, the importance of everything is different. This will have a 0.25 importance. This will have a 0.25 importance. And this will have a 0.5 importance. So this is basically 25% of the total importance, 25% of the total importance, and 50% of the total importance. Now, let's say a student gets marks. Let's say someone gets 12, assignment is 15, and this is 9. If I calculate normal average, what is the normal average? Normal average is nothing but is equal to average. Select all of this, get the answer as 12. How many of y'all agree at this point 12 would not be the right final result for the student? Does that make sense, or do I have to explain that also? It's not right, barabar. It's not right. Absolutely. Correct? Okay, perfect. Why is it not right? Because every mark is not the same. Every mark is having different weightage. So what do we have to do? We have to go and calculate the weighted number. What will that be? 12 multiplied by 0.25, which is 3. Then 15 multiplied by 0.25, which is 3.75. And then 9 multiplied by 0.5, which is a total of 4.5. So now if I take the total of this, it comes to 11.25. It is different than what we had as a normal average, because this is now weighted average. So if you have gone to a school, a college, a university, or any kind of other program as well, you would be having different weightage given to different examinations as well. So this is basically ultimately how you have your calculations done according to the importance, according to the weightage of every exam. Are we clear with the concept of weighted average right now, guys? Does that make sense to you guys right now? Yeah. Great. Chalo. What else? Understood? Perfect. Now, let us go ahead and actually now understand how we can do it with the help of a formula. So if I say is equal to weighted average, I will simply select is equal to weighted average. I will select the marks, comma. I will select the importance, bracket closed, and I will directly get the answer. That's it. So instead of doing this multiple times, and then calculating it separately, I have created a formula called weighted average to do the work for me. Our job is to create this entire weighted average formula for us. All right. So to do so is something that we can use ChatGPT for. Guys, we can go to ChatGPT and do the same thing, which is simply say, create an Excel formula called weighted average. Called weighted, let's call this weighted underscore Jatan underscore average. Okay, just to make sure it is different from the one that we already have. The purpose of the formula is to calculate the weighted average of the selected cell range. In the syntax of the formula, In the syntax of the formula, you will have two arguments. First, the uh, two arguments. First, cell range number 1, and second, cell range number 2. The formula has to sec- the formula has to calculate the weighted average between the between both the cell ranges, which will be equal in size. That's it. Okay. So I'll simply send the message. That's it. Very simple prompt. Let's see if that works out for us. Yeah. There you go. So now, as you can see, our entire formula is ready. All I have to do is copy this, go back to Chat GPT, go back to Microsoft Excel, Alt F11, go here and paste the entire formula. Okay. Now, if I close it, let's see if this formula works. I will say is equal to weighted Jatan average, all right. And I will simply select this, comma, select this, bracket closed, enter. I'm getting a value error once again. So what I will do is, now that I have learned my lesson, I have gone ahead and done it earlier also, I have gotten the value error. I can try to say Chat GPT, I'm getting a value error, fix it for me. Or I can simply go to my prompt and try to make it more detailed. So for example, I can say, for example, I have two cell ranges, cell A1 to A2, having the values 10 in cell A1 and 20 in cell A2. Let's make this something like this. First range, and I'll call this second range. And simply I will copy this, something like this, copy, paste, and I will say I have 0.2 in cell B1 and 0.8 in cell B2. And I will change this to B1 to B2. The formula should first multiply both the cells in the same row. That is, multiply the value of cell A1 with cell B1. In this example, multiply 10 with 0.2. Then it should multiply. So the formula should multiply both, should first multiply both the cells in the same row. That is, multiply the value of cell A1 with cell B2 and then multiply the value of cell B1 with cell, A2 with cell B2. Whatever is the answer of both the multiplications, the formula should add it together and give as the final output. So I will hit enter now. Let's see if this works out. If I click on submit, let's wait for it to generate an entire formula for us. So as you can see, it is generating the entire formula. Now, if I copy this formula, let's see if this formula works out. So I'll go ahead in Microsoft Excel. I will again press Alt F11. I will remove the previous formula, right click and paste the new formula and close the formula. box. Then I will say is equal to weighted average Jatan. I will select this. I will select this. And there you go. Just like last time, how we were able to make our entire prompt more detailed and get the answer. Similarly, again, we have tried to make the entire prompt more detailed and get the answer for us as well. So guys, before we move forward, what is the one key lesson that you have learned with the two examples that we have looked at so far? Tell me in the Zoom chat, what is the one thing that we have learned so far? That has to be the biggest highlight of everything that we have looked at, which is keep trying. Yes, absolutely. A lot of learnings, right? Uh, Prompt should be proper, 100% yes. There should be clear instructions, absolutely yes. Prompt has to be precise. Don't lose hope. Arey, don't go into all of that. Guys, uh, logical answers. Prompt is very important. Yes, absolutely. To be very specific, yes. Be clear, trial and error, yes. We can get whatever we want from ChatGPT, absolutely. So, guys, you must have heard about the importance of writing the correct prompt so far from multiple different sources, whether it is social media, Google, YouTube, whatnot. Now you have seen something which is practical. You have understood, yes, if I don't write the correct prompt, I will not be able to get the correct answer. Was I able to show that practically so far, guys? Does that make sense? Yeah? Cool. Wonderful. Now, guys, I want to also help you learn one more thing. I have a question for you guys. Can you tell me? I'm launching a poll right now in the Zoom chat right now. Give me a second. I'm launching a poll right now. I want you guys to vote on that poll. Okay. The poll is very simple. I want to know how many of y'all know the concept of mail merge. Okay. So, do you know how to use mail merge in Microsoft Word using Microsoft Excel data? Question mark. Choose either a yes or a no. I'm launching the poll in a second. Okay. Chalo. Perfect. So I've clicked on the save button and I'm clicking on the launch button also. 1 second. Guys, go ahead. Please quickly put out a poll. Drop in a yes, drop in a no, whatever the case is. If you don't know, I will try to cover it right now itself. Okay. Meanwhile, I also have this question coming from Prabhakar Pandey, who is saying, Sir, we cannot undo anything after using any function in AutomateX. Please help. Understand, guys, AutomateX works on Excel macros. You could have Googled this answer also, by the way, but let me clarify. Guys, macros cannot be undone. So if I try to, let's say, combine data and get data here, I cannot undo it. Macros cannot be undone. So for example, if I go and Google, can I undo a macro in Excel? There is no undo for macro-based commands. ये पता नहीं yes to लिखा है for no reason, but yeah, this is the answer. There is no undo for macro-based command. All right. So you cannot actually go ahead and use Control Z to undo any of your automations. So be very careful with what you are using. It's not a problem of AutomateX. That's literally how macros work. All right. So yeah, make sure to do it properly. All right, cool. So guys, I've gotten my answer. Okay. 79% of people are saying no. And I can show it to you also. I don't, yeah. 79% of people are saying I don't know mail merge using Microsoft Word with Microsoft Excel. So guys, I'm going to quickly spend the next 5 to 10 minutes showing you how to mail merge. Okay. Let's quickly understand that. It's very, very, very easy. So I'm going to quickly show it to you. Are you ready for this, guys? If you already know mail merge, wonderful. Again, revise your knowledge. If you don't know all the 79% of people, can I show you? Can I teach you that right now? Will that make sense? Yeah. Ready for it? Chalo, cool. So guys, I'm going to show it to you right now. Give me a second. I'm going to quickly open up a Word doc. Okay, so cool, guys. Have a look at this. Right here, I have a Word document. Let's say I am sending out an email to my entire team. Okay. And I have the following data. So I have the name, I have something called as the email, okay, and I have something called as the amount that they have generated, sales amount, and I have what else can be a thing, okay. Okay, so I can also have their house address, okay. I'm going to quickly give you an example of three people just as a demo. So let's say it is Jatan, let's say it is, I can see Shobit, I can see Shashank, okay. Sure. So guys, I will say, let's say jatan@gmail.com is my Gmail ID, and I will simply make it Shobit and Shashank at gmail.com. I will say sales amount as 100, 200, 150. Okay. Then I will go to house address where I can say, let's say I live on 10, MG Road, for example, 20, or let's say flat A, SV Road, and let's say 80 Malabar Hill. All right. So this is what we have right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this data, okay, on my desktop. So I'll go here and I will say data for mail merge. Okay. So I've saved this data. Now I can go to a Word doc and start using this to create different documents with a unique or with a dynamic data for each and every document, where some of the things remain static, but there are variables inserted every now and then coming from our Excel data. So for example, I can start off by saying hi. And then if I go to mailings now, mailings, oops, yeah, mailings, I have the option to start mail merge, and I have the option to select recipients. Now, understand the step-by-step process, guys. The recording is on, so don't worry. The recording will be uploaded as always by tomorrow in the previous weekly Q&A recordings course. Some people forget it. I don't know why, but yeah, let me repeat once again. Every recording is there in the previous weekly Q&A recordings course. Every live session's recording is uploaded inside this course one day after the live session is conducted. So by tomorrow, you will have the recording uploaded right here. Now, coming back to our mail merge. This is the step-by-step process that you have to follow. Number one, you will have to first write out the entire email that you want to send. So let's say I say, hi, you have done, you have done a total sales of, and then you can add the sales amount. As a result, we are sending you some goodies at your registered residential address. Please confirm if it is the below mentioned address. And then you can put in the address and you can simply say, thank you, comma, Jatansha. Okay. Now, all I have to do is go to mailings. I will click on select recipients and say use an existing list, because if your data is in Microsoft Excel, that becomes your list. So you don't have to type a new list. You have to go to use an existing list. You can click on it. And when you do, you can choose your Excel file, which is there on my desktop. So I'll go here. As you can see, data for mail merge. I will select it and click on the open button. When I do that, it will ask me to select the data from whatever worksheet I want to get my data. If you have multiple worksheets, this is a great way for you to select the worksheet from where your data is supposed to come from. Because I only had one worksheet in that Excel file, it is showing me only one worksheet, as you can see. Now, you can click on OK. Because the first row of our entire data is our column header, I will put this tick mark and leave it as it is. Now I will click on the OK button. When you click on the OK button, there isn't going to be any visible change in your Word doc. However, if you notice, you would be having these buttons enabled. Earlier they were disabled, now they are enabled. So now, wherever you wanted to have that dynamic data, name dynamic, sales amount dynamic, etc., you will have to insert a merge field. So if you click on the drop down here, you can insert your name just like this. You can say a total sales of, insert sales amount. You can say address is going to be insert, and it is going to be your house address. There you go. Now that you have inserted all of this, you can directly go and send all of them an email. However, if you don't want to do that, and if you want to preview how it is going to look like, then you can click on preview result. If you click on preview result, see what happens. You will see all of this one by one. So if you click on the next one, this is your first record coming for Jatan. If you click on next, Shobit 200 SV Road. Number 3, Shashank 150 80 Malabar Hills. So this way, just by clicking on this button, you can simply preview your result. Again, if you click on it, it will get back to your normal merge field. As you can see, name, sales amount, and house address. Now you can go to finish and merge. You can say send email messages. And here is the thing, understand this. You might wonder, sir, we also created a fourth column called email. I have only have used 3 things here. Now if I go to finish and merge and I say send email messages. Now do you see this? Here I have the option to go and say to whom these email IDs. So this is where I will use that fourth option, which is the email IDs of my employees. Then I can put in a subject line. The problem here is, understand this, your subject line cannot be dynamic when it comes to this method of mail merging. You will have to, so as you can see, there is no way for you to enter any merge tag here. I'm not able to enter anything. So I will have to manually just enter one normal subject line, which will remain constant. You can choose the mail format. HTML is the best. No need to understand what is attachment plain text. HTML is good to go. All right. And then click on OK. If you have 1,000 employees and you only want to send it to, let's say, the first 100 employees, you can say from 1 to 100 in case you have 100. For now, I will say all. And then I can click on OK. It will use my Outlook and it will send all the emails. So repeating the process once again, even though there is a recording available for it, however, repeating it for you guys once again. Number 1, go to select recipients, use an existing list, click on it, and this way you will be able to open up a Microsoft Excel file as your mail merge data. I will select it, click on open. When you do that, you will be having all of this enabled for you. You can go to insert merge field and insert whatever merge field you want. If you want to preview your result, you can click on preview result and you will be able to preview each and every result as well, as you can see. And then ultimately, if you want to print your document separately, you can do that. You want to send as email IDs or send as email, you can do that. And you can click on, by the way, you can also click on edit individual document. If you select this option, every mail merge will turn into a separate document. For example, right now, I only have one document. The moment I click on edit individual document, it will ask me, do you want to have it for all individual documents or only from a specific employee to a specific employee? Let's say I create all and I click on OK. See what happens. Now you have an entire Word doc generated where you have separate pages. One for Jatan, one for Shobit, one for Shashank. So if you want to do this, in case you want to do this, you can do that. All right. As simple as that. And then in case you have this question, but sir, all of this is there in the same Word document. What if I want to actually save every page as a separate document? Then what do I do? Then you can use Alt F11. In Microsoft Word, you also have macros. Go to ChatGPT, get a macro which says, simply split my document as separate documents, one for each page. and you will be able to split your data as well. Second way to do it is to simply go to a website like ilovepdf.com, which has a tool which can allow you to split your Word document also. So all of this is possible. You can use any of these things as well. But yeah, this is basically the process of mail merging in Microsoft Word with your Microsoft Excel data. Guys, I've explained it to you not once, twice. If you have understood this process now, absolutely clearly, go ahead, drop in a yes in the Zoom chat. Guys, are we all clear with this now? Make sense? Perfect. All right, awesome. Yep. All right, awesome. How do we do it in Gmail? Guys, if you want to mail merge in Gmail now, there is no option to do it directly in Gmail. However, if your company allows it, I would not recommend it. मेरे पे मत बोलना if something goes wrong. However, there is an extension called GMAS. GMAS is made for Google, as you can see, Google email, that is Gmail mail merge. I think it is free of cost till a certain point, and then you have to pay for it in case your usage is very high. Okay. So it's called GMAS. You can Google GMAS extension and you can find out for yourself. All right. So yeah, that's kind of about it. This is how you can also do it in Gmail. Okay. And just one more thing, guys. Yeah, one more thing. If you want to do this in Gmail without GMAS, one thing that I can think of is you can use Outlook application and log into Outlook with your Gmail account and then use the offline method which I have shown you, which is the Word document method. It will send everything via your Gmail ID. Okay, so in case you want to do that, you can do that as well. All right. On that note, guys, we have actually learned quite a lot of things today. How many of you all have found the entire session roughly around 67 minutes to be super useful? Let me know in the Zoom chat. How many of you all have found a lot of new learnings in today's session? As always, by the way, I see a lot of feedback. Thank you so much, guys. As always, every recording is uploaded in the previous weekly Q&A recordings course. Tomorrow, you will be having a separate section in 2024, which is called March 2024. And today's recording will be available right there on the 2nd of March. Thank you so much for being a part of the entire session, guys. Take care of yourself and enjoy the weekend as well. I will see you all next week to continue our learning as well. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Bye-bye and take care. Thank you.